months since you were last here. I'm curious, how's everything? How's your energy? How's your life?
Oh, amazing.
Every time I talk to you, you tell me, Kevin, I'm just working hard.
Yes. We'll come to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Tony, for the record, is an author, like I said, of amazing books. There's one called Eeny, Meeny, Money and More, How to Save and Invest 70% of Your Income. And then there's also Eeny, Meeny, Money and More, Just Got Bigger. And then another one, this is actually one of my favorites, Cradle to the Cradle. I like it, a journey of African culture, story of the Luo Nation. And then there's another one, 100 African folk stories. I love that one. The Traveler, that's a good one. Not Without My Water Pot, A Day at the Market, and of course, My Little Big Animal Coloring Book. That's for the kiddos. Yeah, good stuff, man. 24 minutes after 7. Guys, remember you can actually stream live on www.spicefm.co.ke. Tony, let's get right into it. Passive income and portfolio rebalancing. Let's start simple. When people hear of passive income, it sounds like money that just shows up out of nowhere. Right? So how exactly would you describe passive income?
I would describe passive income as the money that you make while you're sleeping. You don't need to wake up. You don't need to move a finger. This is money that just finds its way or even tiptoes into your bank account.
It works for you.
It works for you. So this is money that makes its way into your bank account. Yes.
That's interesting.
That's what I would describe passive income as.
Yeah.
Yes.
So give us some of the realistic passive income streams in the country that I guess Kenyans can get into.
If you're investing in the stock market, you would get dividends.
Yeah.
And if you're fortunate to be investing in the stock market and you understand how the market works, you'll also be making capital gains.
Yeah.
If you're investing in government bonds, you'll be making coupons. You will also be making income from interest if you have deposits in the bank, or if you have deposits in accounts that enable you to earn interest income.
Correct. For the record, this conversation is bouncing off Eeny, Meeny, Money and More. That's an amazing book that we urge you to actually get it. Where can guys get it, Tony?
They can get it on tonyolang.com, which will then guide them to Nuria Bookstore or Amazon.
Yeah.
And on Amazon, they can get it in hard case, paperback, and Kindle. For those who like digital copies. Awesome.
So,
yes.
When you talk about passive income and the examples that you've given, some of the income streams, some people imagine, you know what, Kev, man, this sounds technical. I probably need millions to start, And you're saying that's not really the case. So what's the minimum we can get into passive income, for example?
There's something called the progress principle. That once you learn how to do something, you eventually become better at it, and it also enables you to become better at other things.
Correct.
Over and above that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to go about this is to choose what you can term as low-hanging fruits or easy entry points. And what people have been talking about quite a bit in the market are the money market funds. So you can do a money market fund, you can do a fixed income fund, you can do even fixed deposits in the bank. You can do private debt funds. There are many forms of what we are calling these assets or that you can invest in, or these collective investment schemes that would grant you access to passive income.
So maybe you can share with us your story, because, obviously, Tony, you started from somewhere. Before you made it this big. So what's your story? Because I feel like that's more relatable.
Yes. This is a very interesting one. And it goes deep into how, the subtle whispers come in the family. How people learn about money. So in 2001, I think, or thereabout, my mom looks at me and says, Tony, you have now started making some money. So come and let me show you how you can invest this money. And my entry into investing, I could say, started through real estate. We ended up buying some land some plots in, what's this place called, in Katani.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how my journey into investing began.
Mm-hmm.
1 plot, 2 plots, 3 plots,
Mm-hmm.
and it went on that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it then got to a point where I became more conscious about my investing.
Yeah.
And you then ask yourself, I have all these assets here. What would happen if? Okay? Or what income are my assets generating? So the journey towards transitioning from purely investing in plots of land and real estate to being able to explore other asset classes broadly gives a summary of my personal investing journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where we are having today's discussion on portfolio rebalancing.
Yeah.
Because I can assure you, if you talk to the average person out there,
Yeah.
the belief that investment is buying a plot in Joska, in Kamulu, somewhere off one of the bypasses or something like that. That is the general mindset that we have today. And when we are looking at investing, we should ask ourselves, what income streams are going to come from this asset that I'm putting my money
Correct.
in? That is what I would summarize as my investment journey.
Yeah, obviously. So you started small, and of course you scaled. And now it's going to lead me to my next question. Most Kenyans actually are in active income streams. Of course, we're talking about the pay slip.
Yes.
So there's a thin line between, of course, the active income streams and the passive ones, right? So, first of all, Abu, just clarify for us, for the regular guys who are listening to us right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on between the active income streams and the passive ones?
I would like you, and we are talking here now basically about a salary.
Yeah.
I would like our listeners to think about their salary as a seed. They have the choice to either eat that seed or plant that seed. And the option to plant the seed then grants them the opportunity to harvest sometime later in the future.
Correct.
And their harvests are likely to be more bountiful, assuming that they take care of that tree or that plant. So this is what we are talking about. When you receive your active income, plant it, and then live off the proceeds from your investments. That is what we are calling the passive income. So whether you are sleeping or not, there is money finding its way
It's true.
into your bank account.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's what we call the passive income.
That is the passive income, the income that you don't have to get out of bed for it to get into your bank account.
But you know, when we watch the news, when we engage with people out there, when we go about our transactions, you can tell that the economy is a bit volatile. Sometimes it's good, you know, it's I don't want to say it's dilapidated.
Yes.
So if you were to give somebody advice on where to put their money, plant this seed when it comes to passive income streams, you've given us the examples.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
The last time I was here, you asked me the same question.
Correct.
And I meant, you asked me which 2 asset classes would you put your money in now for me as a person. It is important, and those are some of the things that we are talking about in Eeny, Meeny, Money and More. And I have since gone on to write Eeny, Meeny, Money and More just got bigger.
Sounds good.
Yes, for the guys now who want to put a rocket on their money.
The guys on the expressway.
So,
like it.
So what we are talking about here is you need to understand your investor profile. There are those of us who can absorb a lot more risk, either because of our age or just because of how we are as people, our personalities.
Correct.
And there are those who feel that because they have a lot less tolerance for risk, they would like to go towards the conservative investment. Yes.
No, that's interesting.
So once you understand who you are as a person, you then are able to appreciate how much of your overall portfolio you're willing to put in the stock market.
Tony, I have to check in over there. So I guarantee you, most Kenyans are very conservative.
Yes.
At this particular moment of our lives, I don't think guys want to take a lot of risks. I mean, there are people who can, who can stretch themselves.
Yes.
So for the conservative ones, you can give us practical examples. Let's talk specifics.
Yes. Specifics for conservative assets, I would say you can go into a high yield savings account. And even within those high yield savings account, you probably need to choose your service provider carefully.
Okay.
Last time we mentioned that, you can go onto the CMA website, or, you can find them listed on the internet. And you need to find one that resonates with who you are and what is their mission, vision, and core values. And if those align with yours, then you can pick on that one. You have your money market funds. You have your government bonds. Those are what I would broadly classify as conservative.
Okay.
And the old school conservative would probably go into buying land and building rentals or purchasing rental houses.
All right.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's interesting. Knowing who you are, to me, that means also, knowing your net worth.
Know yourself, yes.
Yeah, how important is it for you to actually know your net worth, and how do you actually calculate your net worth?
The net worth conversation is a very interesting one. Most of us know we have something somewhere, but we never keep track of what we own quite clearly. So being able to create a register of these are the properties I own, these are the government bonds that I own, these are the listed stocks that I own, these are the companies, maybe non-listed, that I have invested in, and this is the money that I have either in collective investment schemes or in bank deposits. Once you are able to then tell what the value of your assets are, you then deduct associated liabilities. These are the debts or things that are payable to those specific accounts. For example, if you have a house and you have borrowed money against that house, you have the value of the house less the outstanding amount due to your financier. The difference between one and the other is your net position on that asset.
Correct.
And some of these details can trickle down all the way up to your M-Pesa balance. Sometimes these little monies that you have lying around end up accumulating into larger amounts.
Right.
So being able to identify your assets and to ascribe a value to them, deduct the liabilities that you have due to the people who have lent you money, gives you then your net position. An interesting thing that you are likely to get to from there is to establish what return each of these assets is generating for you on a year-to-year basis. If you're able to do this exercise for several years, you'll start seeing the assets that are not doing good in your portfolio.
Yeah.
And those are the assets that you probably want to wean off your portfolio and do what we are calling portfolio rebalancing.
I love it. We're going to touch on portfolio rebalancing in just a bit.
Yes.
But also I read on the book about compounding and how it's such a game changer.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I'll probably start by talking about the rule of 72. These are some subtle things that passed our grandfathers, they passed our fathers or our parents, and now we want to make sure that they don't pass us. These are nuggets of wisdom. So the rule of 72 is a simple way of establishing how long it will take you to double money that you have in an investment.
Right.
So if your investment return is 10%, you divide 72 by 10, and you'll get 7.2 years. So if you have 1 million shillings in an investment, and it's giving you 10% per annum, you'll be able to make that 2 million in 7.2 years. If your asset is giving you 20%, using the same formula, we know you'll be able to double your money in 3.6 years. So the rule of 72 is a simple way of you being able to establish how long it will take you to double your money. The element around compound interest is that the money you have invested generates some return, and you then have a new balance at the end of the first year, which is your capital plus investment return. This new total is then reinvested, and you have a continuous growth on top of the previous growth. That is what we call compounding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Awesome. We're on track.
Yes.
That's the one and only Tony Olang is the author of an amazing book, Eeny, Meeny, Money, and More. I love it. How to save and invest 70% of your income. We're coming back with more conversations. Remember, this is all about passive income and portfolio rebalancing. Right now, 22 minutes to the top of the hour. Sensitivity. Ralph